Hi guys and welcome to yet another very exciting Adobe Audition tutorial. And in this tutorial we will talk about the key features or key areas of Adobe Audition interface. For example, from the beginning with its name and year and version and edition, it comes this menu which contains file menu, edit menu, multi-track and other menus. And there are drop down options and then there are more options and effects in it. But the thing that I want to tell you about this is that many of the effects and buttons and menus and options that are found in here can be also found in form of buttons near the stuff that they are related to. So, as a general rule, you should always try to find the alternate of these options or these effects near the track or near the thing that you are working in the interface here, because that makes it more easy and more intuitive to learn and easy to remember that which effect does what, rather than remembering all these from here the top menu. First of all, the first menu that comes into our begins the interface of Adobe Audition is the files panel. And the file panels contain all the files that you brought into Adobe Audition to work on, and then they are brought into the view form, all the multi-track for track form, and then you can work on them. Of course, you can always change the multi-track form, move to the multi-track and from the waveform and waveform from multi-track. And one important thing I want to mention about the multi-track and the waveform is that depending on which mode you select, keep your eye on these tools. If you are working in waveform, these tools are available and the others are grayed out, and there is the option between spectral pitch display and spectral frequency display, which appears in the bottom. This is the amplitude level or display that is given out. But if you change to the multi-track view, then you can see other tools are now available, razor tools and slip tool, and these ones are grayed out. Depending on which mode you are in, the related or relevant tools become available and the others are then grayed out and non-functional. After the file panel, the most important place where most of your time is spent in the Adobe interface is this editor, in which your multi-track and waveform displays are. All your tracks are brought in here, the files, and then they are edited, shortened, cut, and many other things that happen to them are happened in here. Of course, we can learn in more detail in the upcoming and future tutorials about these things, so do not sweat. One of the new panels that is very important to Adobe Audition is that this essential sound panel, and this is especially designed for people who are totally new and beginners to Adobe Audition and who does not know anything about Adobe Audition and are totally overwhelmed by all these effects and the options inside those effects and stuff. This is a very easy and quick and dirty way that even with just a minimum settings, they can start applying different sort of effects to their audio tracks and getting to almost 100% or perfect quality, but about ranking to 80 or 90% of the best result that is possible. Okay, most of these effects or panels in here have just one button or just one slider options, and they can be very easily used. Look at this one, the span position, which changes the sound from left to right speaker. It is just one slider, it does not have anything in here. You can just move this one around, and they are really easy to learn also. I am going to do in the future upcoming tutorials. In this tutorial series you will see that a whole set of tutorials, 4 or 5, about all the options and all the panels in here. And if you are not a professional audio editor and totally new to any audio editing software, then this panel can make you a pro out of you in a matter of a week. Okay, so moving on. At the bottom here we have the control panels or the playback panels. Playback controls play, stop, reverse, rewind, and the button for recording, loop button, and this is the special button. It's the skip button. If you don't want a selection of the audio don't want to be played, click on this button. It will skip it the next time it is played. Then you have the zoom controls for which are used to zoom to your audio forms. There are time zooms, amplitude zooms, stuff like this. About all these we're gonna learn in the future dedicated tutorial beyond this. And at the bottom there is the meter, display meter, the level meter, which displays our dBs, that at which sound level that we are currently speaking or making our track is being played. I have just turned on its meter input display. It's not recording or playing anything, it's just showing the meter level or the decibel level of the sound that I'm speaking to the microphone in and recording my voice. Okay, so let's turn this off. And next to it, to the meter, the level meter is the time information of our selection at the moment. But if I just select our file, then it shows me the duration, the start and the end point of that audio waveform or audio track. Other than this is the main important thing in Adobe Audition interface is the workspaces. This is the default workspace, but you can change it to other workspaces depending on the type and the nature of your work, that which suits you better. Of course, you can also make and adjust and hide few of the panels. For example, you don't want a certain panel to appear, you can close that and move it around to another place and stuff like that. But if that's all gets lost to you and you are totally lost how to fix them back, you can always go to this option which says reset to save layout, and then it resets everything back to it. Okay, other than that, the media browser at the bottom here is the last panel that I'm gonna talk about this, because the tutorial has become very long and the rest of some additional panels that are very important, I'm gonna talk about them in the upcoming tutorial. There is the media browser panel in which we can browse all our drives and bring media to Adobe Audition directly. And then there is the effect track. I will make a dedicated tutorial about it, but I can just tell you that it's a place where you can apply 16 effects at one time, and they're all non-destructive in their nature. And if you know something about Adobe Audition, that its workflow is basically destructive, but if you apply your effects from the effect track, then they become non-destructive. The difference between destructive and non-destructive display workflow, I would also explain that in the upcoming and future tutorials. Markers can be applied, and this is the marker panels. They are little notes in digital form. Properties panel show the info and other stuff and many other stuff. And at the bottom there is the history panel, the things that we have done in here, the things that we have not done or we can do. The video, if we have brought it sequence from Adobe Premiere Pro, its video will be shown here. Of course, video cannot be edited in Adobe Audition, but for reference to the audio form, it is shown here so that we can make better audio editing with it. So that's it, guys, for this tutorial. In this tutorial, I just wanted to talk to you about and run you down with a more key and most important interface features of Adobe Audition. In the upcoming tutorial, I will talk about some of the other essential panels in Adobe Audition. Until that time, I take my leave and goodbye for now.